Mike Hillstrom, M-I-K-E. Last name is Hillstrom, H-I-L-L-S-T-R-O-M. And I am the Public Information Officer with the Incident Management Team that's helping with this incident.
So what can you tell us about the fire right now?
So we're calling this the Jack Pine Fire. It's about 100 acres in size. We're working on getting containment, but it's not contained yet. It started about 3:45 this afternoon. It got called in. So we have a number of fire crews on the scene, DNR fire crews, as well as a number of local resources. There were even a couple of Black Hawk helicopters that were called in to help with dumping some water on the fire. Because it was such a high-risk fire day, there was preparation that there may be a large-scale fire.
And is the fire a part of the airport? Is it associated with the airport at all?
No, it's burning through some forested area. Unfortunately, there are some structures that were involved. We don't have details about it at this point yet, but it's kind of burning through some forest and some areas with houses.
So yeah, are there any houses at risk that you know of, or is it still too early?
I don't have the details. We kind of have knowledge that there were some structures potentially involved, but I don't have the details yet of kind of what that looked like. So there were some voluntary evacuations. So we know there are potentially some houses in the area. Those people were asked if they could voluntarily evacuate. So there is an evacuation center if they wanted to do that. We did have about 10 to 12 people in that evacuation shelter last I heard. So.
Do you know of anyone being injured yet?
We have not heard of any injuries, which is great.
As far as like on the ground, what are firefighters, personnel, what are they seeing?
Yeah, so we saw some pretty elevated fire behavior, some pretty big flames, what we call torching. So the fire actually getting up into the crowns of trees and actually, doing some pretty significant damage. So when we get days like this where we put out what's called a red flag warning, it's a really high fire risk day. That means it's warm temperatures, very low relative humidity, and typically some pretty gusty winds. So we had those conditions today. So basically every fire staff that we had at DNR and local resources were all prepared for a day like this for something to happen. So of course we never want anything like this to happen, but we try to get the word out on days like this that there is an elevated risk, and so we need to take appropriate precautions.
Do you guys know what caused the fire yet?
I have not heard anything about the cause of the fire yet. That's still under investigation, but we'll definitely be releasing that information when we know an actual cause.
Do you know how much longer you're gonna have crews out here?
So as long as it's safe to operate, typically there's not work overnight just because it's not safe to be out there where they can't see what they're doing. We're using, heavy like bulldozers and things like that. So they need to be able to see. So things will slow down here as we move later into the evening, and then we'll start back up right away tomorrow morning at first light. So there will be people out monitoring, make sure, all the residents are safe and, making sure everything's okay, but the actual kind of active maintaining the fire will get kind of put on hold temporarily.
Are you guys concerned with the fire still spreading, or do you have it somewhat contained at this point?
So the last information I got was that they were, working towards containment. I don't have an exact number on what that looks like yet, but they were making good progress. I can say from just looking at the smoke is significantly less than it was a while ago. So I can't say for sure that's, good or bad, but hopefully that's a good sign that, they're getting things under control, and this fire will be, hopefully contained in the near future.
So since it was such a high risk fire day and there were multiple fires, has it been a problem with units being pulled off of this fire or having to relocate to a different fire?
I haven't heard of any issues yet with this. So we have a fair number of fire staff, and there's still 2 feet of snow up in places in the northern part of the state. So we're able to kind of backfill with crews that are in different parts of the state where the fire risk isn't quite so elevated yet. So yeah, I would say today we had good coverage to get to the fires we needed to get to.
Trying to think of if there's anything else I need. Was there anything else you can think of? Any concerns for locals or anything like that?
Let me just think if there's anything else. Yeah, so I don't think I have anything else as far as information at this time. Again, if the Salvation Army is setting up some hotel rooms for people who wanted to be evacuated, so there are resources out there. If people are interested, both the DNR website, the DNR social media, we're keeping that up to date as much as possible. So if people are interested in hearing more about what's going on and getting the latest details, definitely check out the DNR webpage or the DNR social media, and we'll be doing updates frequently.
All right, I think that's it. So
News 3 Now is always on.
Get the Channel 3000 app, activate the push alerts, and we will send you breaking news, traffic, and weather alerts as it happens.
The Channel 3000 app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now.